Part 58. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 571. Li Biwu pointed to the white starch on the table and said in a baby voice. This is for food, Li Chen patiently taught, so you can't waste food. Okay, Li Biwu rubbed her nose with her fingers, achoo. Li Biwu slowly raised her head, her face was covered with starch, and there was a snot hanging from her nose. Ha ha ha. Li Zifeng and Li Donglong saw the scene and laughed out loud. Woo woo. Hearing that her elder brother and second sister were laughing, Li Biwu felt very aggrieved. She was about to get close to Li Chen. Li Chen quickly pulled out two tissues and immediately blocked Li Biwu, who was getting close to her. Li Biwu stared at Li Chen with big eyes and looked at Li Chen innocently. Daddy doesn't love me anymore? Li Chen helped Li Biwu wipe the powder and snot off her face with some disdain. After wiping it carefully, he wiped her carefully with a wet tissue, and it became clean again. Li Biwu sniffed and sneezed again. Li Chen. Xiao must have caught a cold, Li Zifeng said from the opposite side. Li Chen reached out and touched Xiao's forehead, and it didn't feel hot. After wiping Xiao's nose clean, Li Chen said, "Don't touch this, just watch, and Dad will make you some brown sugar ginger tea later." Li Biwu's eyes lit up instantly, and he smacked his lips. After the potato starch turned into powder, the next step was to make handmade potato flour. Add a certain amount of potato starch to the bowl, then add a certain amount of salt, and finally add a certain proportion of cold water. You can stir it with your hands or chopsticks, and finally add a certain amount of boiling water to thicken it continuously. Finally, gradually add about 10 times the potato starch as before. In this way, the potato starch will not be very sticky, and the viscosity can be adjusted by adding the right amount each time. Li Chen and Li Zioqi did a good job. Li Donglong's side has become a paste, and Li Zifeng's side can't be kneaded into a ball. So, both of them failed a little. But after all, it was their first time, and Li Chen was more encouraging. After continuous kneading, the dough will become very ductile. Li Chen bought a machine for making it, so after kneading, he didn't have to roll the dough by himself, and it would be ready. I'll go boil water. Li Zioqi got up and boiled another pot of hot water. The water for boiling potato flour doesn't need to be too hot, generally a little hot is enough. After adjusting the medium and small fire, start making vermicelli with the machine. This is a very interesting hands-on process. Daddy, I want to play too. Li Biwu jumped on the stool, already a little impatient. Don't worry, Li Zifeng glared at Xiao, and Xiao immediately shrank her neck and leaned on Li Chen's arms to complain, "Sister is fierce." It's okay, Li Chen smiled and picked up the little girl, saying, "Let's be fierce back." Ah, Li Biwu imitated the little tiger and roared at Li Zifeng. Li Zifeng. I'll do it. Li Donglong also came over. He didn't expect that the potato noodles would be so beautiful. He found the joy of cooking for the first time. The benefits of processing potato noodles in this way are also very obvious. The chewiness will definitely be better and won't rot. Secondly, after soaking in water and draining, it can be packed and won't go bad. Are we going to eat this for lunch? Li Zifeng tilted her head and looked at Li Chen. Didn't you just eat rice noodles in the morning? Li Chen held Xiao Wu close, and the little girl couldn't wait. While getting started, she giggled. But we still want to eat what we make, Li Zifeng said. Okay, then I'll listen to you. Li Chen agreed with a smile. He really didn't expect that the children would be so interested in making food. However, Li Zioqi and Li Xiaoan were guests after all, and Li Chen had to take good care of them. At noon, he let the 3 children eat the potato noodles he made, and he also fried some vegetables and made a few dishes by the way. Potato noodles can be eaten at any time, but try to eat a little more at noon. As for children, it doesn't matter. It's best to eat small meals frequently. After lunch, Li Chuanlong went to work. Li Zioqi and Li Xiaoan ended the live broadcast and started to pack up. Brother Chen, thank you for your hospitality, Li Xiaoan smiled. And me, and me. Yes, and our lovely Xiao Wu is here to treat you. Li Xiaoan pinched Li Biwu's little face and said, sister is leaving. Li Biwu hugged Li Xiaoan and said, will sister come next time? Of course I will come. Li Xiaoan smiled and said, Xiao Wu is so cute, sister can't bear to leave you. Yeah, Xiao Wu is too. Li Biwu rubbed Li Xiaoan, and hugged Li Zioqi and said, when my mommy comes, I will take you to play. Okay. Li Zioqi was also amused. Xiao Wu is really a little girl that everyone loves. After Li Zioqi goes back this time, there will definitely be a series of adjustments. With Aishang Live as a platform, we can do more and bigger. After Li Chen sent them away, he started to clean up the house. Xiao Long, go clean upstairs, Li Chen ordered. Xiao Feng, be responsible for washing the dishes. What about me? Li Biwu asked excitedly. You, just be dad's follower. Hee hee. Li Biwu laughed immediately, and rushed into Li Chen's arms like a bull, and followed Li Chen upstairs. The sheets and quilts used by the two sisters Li Xiaoan and Li Zioqi still need to be cleaned. Li Biwu will also help on the side, although she always makes things worse, but her heart is good. After throwing the things into the washing machine, Li Donglong clumsily took the broom and started to sweep. It's good for children to do some labor at home. If they are not diligent when they are young, they will not be diligent when they grow up. Now technology is becoming more and more advanced, but people are getting lazier and lazier. Li Chen doesn't think it's a good thing. Besides, after simple housework, you can often get a good pleasure. At noon, in order to prevent the little guys from being bored, Li Chen also made a fruit plate for them to eat. That is to say, now there is this condition, otherwise Li Chen is really a good cook without rice. The three little ones sat in the living room, Xiao sat in the middle, and Li Donglong and Li Zifeng were on both sides. Nowadays, Xiao Wu's favorite thing to do is to hug her brother and sister and watch Calabash Brothers with them. Li Chen thinks it's good. It's easy for children to cultivate feelings when they watch TV together. Xiao Long used to spend less time with them, which is not a good thing. After watching the cartoon, Xiao Wu was the first to take a nap. Li Chen carried a bucket, wore a straw hat, and began to water the tall tea trees with vitality water. The leaves are very tender, and it is estimated that they can be picked in 2 days. Li Chen doesn't mind watering a little more. The tea he stir-fries himself should be more fragrant than the tea leaves he buys. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 572. The tea leaves are crisp and tender, and the leaves are fragrant. Li Chen picked 1 or 2 pieces, put them on the tip of his nose to smell, and chewed them. As expected, the tea trees exchanged with a large amount of vitality water are extraordinary. These tea trees are almost grown up. In addition to tea leaves, there are also tea seeds. The grains of these tea seeds are large and full. One tree is already full. This is a phenomenon that ordinary tea trees planted on the mountain do not have. After watering them one by one, Li Chen carried the bucket back to the house. In the afternoon, a group of people led by Chi Rui, Ling Zhou Dog King and others came to Li Chen's house one after another. At this time, Li Donglong had already got up and was sitting on the mat teasing 2 little tigers. Seeing this group of people coming again, he couldn't help but frowned. He didn't know why these people came to his house. Mr. Li Chirui, Yu Chukshan, and others greeted Li Chen together. Li Chen said, anything else? We were wrong about the previous incident, and we have offended you a lot, Chirui said. Behind him, there were many anchors broadcasting live. This picture was naturally uploaded to the internet. Most of these people are from the Douyin live broadcast platform. At this time, a large number of fans poured into their live broadcast room. Hey, are these dog kings here to apologize? To be honest, I have a very bad impression of this group of people. After all, they were the ones who provoked and spread rumors before, otherwise the daddy wouldn't be so miserable and kept being scolded, but now seeing the attitude of this group of people, I decided to forgive them again. It is very rare to be able to recognize that you have done something wrong. Now some people will not admit it even if they realize it. It seems that the owners of this group of dog kings are not all bastards. Many fans are expressing their opinions. Chi-Rui, Yu Chukshan, and others came to apologize this time because they knew something about Li Chen. The more they understood, the more they found that this daddy was not simple. He said that he was simple and not simple, and he said things that were not simple, but everything he did was very simple. Such people are worthy of admiration. Li Chen looked at the group of people in front of him and smiled, "I accept your apology. However, this matter has passed." Chi-Rui and others had complicated expressions. The more Li Chen downplayed it, the more uncomfortable and sorry they were. "Mr. Li, we have an unwelcome request," Yu Chukshan and others said. No, Li Chen shook his head slightly and found that Xiao Wu, who was blurry-eyed and staggering, came out. Yu Chukshan and others were speechless for a moment and didn't know how to start. "We haven't said it yet. You want to ask me how to train a dog king? Isn't it?" Li Chen smiled and stretched out his hands and hugged Xiao Wu. The little girl lay in Li Chen's arms and fell asleep again. "I don't know how to train a dog king. I raise a dog simply because my daughter likes this puppy and picked it up. That's all. So, I won't interfere in your dog fighting world, and I have no interest in interfering." After hearing Li Chen's words, these people felt disappointed and relieved at the same time. Li Chen knew what they were thinking. He admitted that Daodu was the dog king. This was a fact that they had no choice but to accept. Each of them wanted to learn some skills from Li Chen to cultivate a stronger dog king in the future. But now that Li Chen rejected them all, they all breathed a sigh of relief. As long as Li Chen was unwilling to hand over, the current situation would not be broken. This was the best result. Li Chen really didn't know how to teach, and he didn't want to get involved with these people too much. "Thank you." Everyone showed regret and finally chose to leave. But this matter did not end immediately. First of all, Li Chen's account, the number of fans increased in the past 2 days alone, reached an astonishing 4 million. You know, before this, Li Chen's fans were terrifying. Now, the number of fans is so scary. Secondly, because of this live broadcast event, major platforms have found business opportunities and seen the terrifying appeal of Li Chen's family. There are more than a dozen domestic live broadcast platforms alone who have approached Li Chen, hoping that Li Chen can sign a contract with them and start live broadcasts. After a live broadcast, the income is extremely high. However, just when everyone thought that Li Chen would agree to make money, Li Chen refused and said that he would not often start live broadcasting. This also made many people outside feel sad, thinking that Li Chen had wasted a great opportunity, and various experts said that Li Chen had given up the opportunity to get rich. Unfortunately, just when these experts were about to take the opportunity to rise to power, a post broke out. Li Chen is the new boss of AI Shang Live, and instantly rushed to the top of public opinion and hotspots. Until this moment, everyone was amazed at the horror of Li Chen's financial resources, and countless netizens and fans laughed and said that these experts' faces were swollen. Finally, Li Chen's identity was also the focus of everyone's attention, and there were many reports on the controversy about Li Chen's family. However, Li Chen's own identity as an animal trainer caused a sensation abroad. Mainly because Smith and his group also returned to the village and wanted to ask Li Chen to be their teacher in public. Of course, Li Chen also declined and said that his village wanted to build an environment where people and animals coexist in perfect harmony. If this group of people came to communicate sincerely, they could communicate normally in the future. As a result, Li Chen's popularity has soared again. Smith and others even issued a joint statement and apology, and personally admitted that Li Chen is the well-deserved #1 animal tamer. Whether Li Chen cares or not, he can't escape the title of the world's #1 animal tamer. In the past few days, Li Chen's main work focus is to supervise the progress with his elder brother and second brother. Because as time goes by, these teams are gradually determined. There are naturally more and more people, and some people simply go to the reservoir to camp. Anyway, they have to live here during this period. Of course, hygiene and other things still need to be paid more attention. Li Chen's affairs can no longer be concealed. The whole village, even the surrounding villages, know that he can communicate with animals. Many people want to come to visit him for no reason, but they are stopped by Li Chen. Li Chen takes Li Donglong, Li Zifeng, Li Biwu and a group of small animals for a stroll whenever he has nothing to do. The villagers also gradually calm down from their initial curiosity. As the saying goes, the first time is strange, the second time is familiar. After getting familiar with them, everyone's courage gradually grew. Sometimes, when they saw Li Chen's 3 little ones taking these little guys for a walk, they would take the initiative to approach them and make them intimate and amusing. Slowly, the villagers were no longer afraid of these ferocious animals. The animals were restless, and Li Chen even put small bags on several small animals and hung them directly on their bodies. At first, Li Chen took them for a walk. If the small animals ate the things of the residents, they would leave money as compensation. Sometimes they would give some precious good things, or treasures that can only be found in the mountains, which can be exchanged for money. The animals became familiar with the villagers, and they were no longer afraid of each other, and the villagers also made a lot of money. This also led to the popularity of Li Chen's animal group rising all the way. The transformation of the village has finally started to get on the right track. All the teams have basically been decided. The number of workers working in this village alone has reached an astonishing 13,000 people, which is a pretty incredible data. Of course, money is also spent like water. Li Chen watched his money rising rapidly. So, when the village got back on track, he decided to take the 3 children to visit Murong Shui and his youngest son. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 573. Morning light is breaking. Li Chen has already got up quietly. When he went downstairs, he found that his eldest son Li Donglong also got up. Why don't you sleep a little longer? Li Chen began to squeeze toothpaste and prepared it for Li Donglong. It won't break, Li Donglong said calmly. Li Chen touched his eldest son's head with some distress. Li Donglong has been living like this in Murong's family for many years. While other children are still staying in bed and blaming their elders for being woken up, Li Donglong has already begun to learn to manage a family and learn how to explore in the treacherous business world. He is not qualified to play, and he will not be allowed to play. Going to bed early and getting up early has been integrated into his bones, which cannot be changed. Li Chen's heart is very complicated. He is very grateful to Murong Hungs for nurturing a good son for himself, but at the same time he hates him for ruining his son's childhood. But from another perspective, Li Chen is not qualified to hate Murong Hungs. Because although Li Donglong lost his childhood, he was indeed cultivated step by step by Murong Hungs, who was also the founder of Li Donglong over the years and also took care of Li Donglong. Relatively speaking, he, Li Chen, was the least responsible one. Li Donglong was sharp-minded, and he tiptoed to pat Li Chen's shoulder and said, "Dad, don't blame yourself. I am happy to accept all the introductions." Hearing this, Li Chen rubbed Li Donglong's messy hair, and the father and son stood in front of the wash basin and rinsed their mouths and brushed their teeth together. Li Chen didn't know how happy Li Donglong was at this time. Because after coming here, he tasted the feeling of being cared for and concerned, although there was also the care of his grandmother over there. But the feeling of his grandmother and his father was still different. Even the feeling of his great-grandfather and grandfather was different. After the father and son finished washing their faces in the same way, they set off with sleeves and straw hats, carrying vegetable baskets and baskets. Woof woof. Daodu immediately ran over. Li Donglong touched Daodu's head and took Daodu to the tea garden. After a few days of growth and stimulating growth, the tea leaves in the tea garden have long been ready for picking. Li Donglong only knew that tea leaves were expensive, but he never knew where tea leaves came from. This was quite novel to him. In the early morning of summer, because the sun comes out early and the temperature is high, the dew will not exist for too long. The leaves are very fresh. Li Donglong stood in front of the tea tree and asked, "Is it like this?" Li Chen stared and saw Li Donglong picking the fresh buds, and smiled, "Yes." Hearing this, Li Donglong immediately laughed, "So it is like this." There was an uncontrollable smile on his handsome little face. Li Chen's picking speed was naturally much faster than Li Donglong's. "Dad," Li Zifeng's voice came from upstairs, very sharp. "What's wrong?" Li Chen turned around to reply. Li Zifeng stood by the window and said on tiptoe, "What are you doing?" "Picking tea leaves." "Then I want to come too," Li Zifeng said, and rushed downstairs without closing the window. "What are you going to do?" Li Chuanlong came out of the kitchen with vegetables. "Go pick tea leaves with Dad," Li Zifeng responded. "Wear a hat." Li Chuanlong put down the basket, then found a cute little hat, and put the sleeves he bought on Li Zifeng. "Don't get sunburned." "Hee hee." Li Zifeng immediately hugged Li Chuanlong and kissed him. "Grandpa, you are so good." "You silly girl, if Grandpa doesn't treat you well, who will he treat well? Go quickly, run slowly, and don't fall." "Okay." Li Zifeng immediately spread her long legs and rushed out. Looking at Li Zifeng's figure rushing out, Li Chuanlong shook his head. Li Chen looked at his eldest daughter running towards him and smiled, "Run slower, no one is chasing you." "Yes." "Who?" "Little Wolf and Little Black." Li Zifeng pointed to the little wolf behind him who fell down after running a few steps, and the Little Black who was running very fast. Although Little Black was small, he was a wild boar cub after all. He ran all over the mountains and fields without any fat on his body. The little wolf was different. In most cases, he was actually weaker. Only after growing up slowly, he would gradually become stronger. Awoo. The little wolf was really too small. After falling, he rolled a few times. The whole wolf was probably stunned and sat there stupidly. It was probably not back to its senses yet. Awoo. Little Black looked at the long-legged Li Zifeng, and finally ran back and nudged the little wolf. The little wolf got up in confusion, and its 4 little feet were unstable as if it had drunk alcohol. Its 2 big watery eyes looked at Li Zifeng in front of it. Awoo. Li Zifeng sighed, looked at the pitiful little wolf, squatted down and said, "Come here quickly." Just now, it still looked aggrieved. After seeing Li Zifeng stop and wait for it, the little wolf immediately rushed over. Of course, because it was really like a little meatball, it would always fall when running. Xiao Ziahe had to slow down and follow. Finally, the little wolf happily rushed into Li Zifeng's arms like a husky. Li Zifeng took away the grass clippings on it, and then carried it to pick tea leaves. After seeing Daodu, the little wolf immediately called twice. Awoo. Daodu glanced at the little follower and continued to sleep beside him. The little wolf immediately came over and tried to hide in Daodu's arms, but was stared at by Daodu with fierce eyes. The little wolf seemed not to notice and finally hid in the arms of Daodu, who was a little disgusted. Li Zifeng came forward and began to ask Li Chen to teach him how to pick tea leaves. Li Chen picked the tea leaves very quickly with the two little guys. Mainly because Li Chen didn't want the two little guys to be tired, so his speed was particularly fast. As the sun gradually rose, the dewdrops disappeared without a trace. "Brother, slow down," Li Zifeng acted coquettishly to Li Donglong. But the overbearing boss Li Donglong was unmoved. He just snorted coldly at his sister's coquetry. "Don't think I'm unlucky, you want to catch up with me." Li Zifeng gritted her teeth in anger. "I'm your sister, what's wrong with you giving way to me?" "No way," Li Donglong refused proudly. Li Zifeng was so angry that she grabbed Li Donglong's collar, clenched her fist, and said, "Are you going to slow down or not?" Li Donglong looked at his sister's delicate fist speechlessly, which was not soft. "I definitely didn't slow down because I was afraid of you hitting me." Puff. Li Chen looked away quickly. Li Donglong's face flushed, and he said, "You are my sister, I should let you do what you want." Hearing this, Li Zifeng laughed immediately. "Brother, you are so nice." Seeing his sister let go of her hand, Li Donglong wiped the sweat off his face, and leaned towards Li Chen and said, "Dad, as the big pot, I should let my sister go, right?" Li Chen was also at a loss for words. Why did this guy come up to explain? Can your explanation make your dad believe that you are not a coward? Yeah, that's right, Li Chen lied with his eyes open. Li Donglong was also very satisfied with his father's attitude, and said, "I am definitely not afraid of my sister." "Yeah, yes," Li Chen nodded quickly, and looked at his son's face, which was seriously hypnotizing him, and almost couldn't help it again. "So if I lose later, it's not because I'm not capable." "Yeah, yes," Li Chen said with a smile, "Dad believes in your ability." Li Donglong smiled with satisfaction and continued to pick tea leaves. Li Zifeng waited for his elder brother to walk away, then came over. What did the elder brother say? He said, "You are very beautiful and gentle." Li Chen rolled his eyes and said. Li Zifeng immediately narrowed his eyes and said, "Really? The Country Life of a Rich Dad." Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 574. For some reason, Li Chen actually thought of Murong Shui at this moment. Damn it, the eldest daughter looks so similar to Shui. Yes, Li Chen said seriously. "Xiao Feng, do you know that girls should be gentle?" The more Li Chen said, the more disbelief Li Zifeng looked in his eyes. "What does Dad mean by this? Is it to convey the meaning of big brother? Brother, do you think I'm not gentle enough as a girl?" "Yes, my eldest brother has always been like my mother, thinking that I am not a lady. He dislikes me." The more Li Zifeng thought about it, the more annoyed she became, so she turned around and walked towards Li Donglong. "Sister, hey, are you so stupid? Ouch, it hurts." Dowda raised the dog's head and stared at the scene in front of him with wide eyes. It shook its head a little and continued to sleep on its stomach. Li Chen stared blankly at Li Zifeng teaching Li Donglong, and couldn't help but click his tongue. "Did you say something wrong? Why was the eldest son still beaten?" Li Chen touched his chin and turned his head. "I didn't see it." After Li Donglong's scream stopped, Li Chen turned around and saw his eldest son standing behind him with red palms and a wronged face, looking at him with a resentful look, like a resentful woman in a deep harem. "Hey, what's wrong with you?" Li Chen asked in surprise. "Dad, are you good to me?" Li Donglong felt very hurt. Li Chen exclaimed, "Why do you say this? Just now, Xiao Feng, ahem, had a cordial meeting with me," Li Donglong said while holding his breath. "Oh," Li Chen cooperated. "Then, what was the result?" "The result, it doesn't matter," Li Donglong said resentfully. "I just want to think about Ji Dao. Did you say something to her that you shouldn't have said?" Li Chen. "This kid is so vigilant." "No, I praised her for you." Hearing this, Li Donglong looked heartbroken, and suddenly felt that the whole world was without love. "What's wrong?" Li Chen asked curiously, "didn't you praise her?" Seeing the constipation on his eldest son's face, Li Chen knew the result. How strange. Li Chen himself didn't expect that Li Donglong didn't praise Xiao Feng. No wonder Xiao Feng looked like that when I helped Xiao Long flatter her. Li Chen was a little embarrassed. Does this count as cheating on his own son? But it doesn't matter, if it's a trap, it's a trap, it's not a big problem. Come on, the sun has already come out. Let's finish picking and go home for breakfast. Li Chen changed the subject and couldn't let his eldest son find trouble. Sure enough, when Li Chen quickly started picking tea leaves, Li Donglong had no choice but to passively follow suit. Finally, around 8 o'clock in the morning, the picking was finished. As for these tea fruits, they can be picked and refined into oil after being exposed to the sun for a period of time. Daddy. Sitting on the chair, dangling her little feet, holding the little flower snake in one hand, Xiao Wu excitedly waved to Li Chen. "Xiao Wu, do you miss your father?" Yeah, I have something in mind," Li Bu said happily, and the little flower was even a little dizzy from her shaking. "Then do you want your father more or your elder brother more?" Li Chen put down the tea basket and asked again. "Xiao Wu, get ready for breakfast," Grandpa Li Chuanlong's voice sounded. Li Bu turned his head sharply, slid off his chair, and went straight to the restaurant. "Xiao Wu. Second rice." Li Chen looked dull. Li Donglong sighed, "Dad, why are you humiliating yourself at this time? In the eyes of a foodie, there is only food at this time. You are the only one who talks a lot." Li Chen was speechless and knocked on Li Donglong. The family sat at the table and had a delicious breakfast. The soy milk is freshly ground, while the fried dough sticks are fried by Li Chuanlong and are very crispy. Snort. Li Bu was lying on the table, eating porridge with his own small bowl and spoon. Li Chen ate quickly. After eating, he started to move the shelves out, and then took out the big woven dustpan. Li Donglong, who had finished his breakfast, also ran out to help. He wanted to roast some tea leaves for his grandfather and send it to him personally, which would be regarded as filial piety. The two father and son put the wooden shelf in place and spread out the tea leaves that had been picked and needed to be dried first. After the tea leaves have dried for a while, you can fry the tea. Boom. The radio in the village now rings almost every day, announcing the progress. Just like today, the school in Jiakan is about to be officially completed, and some of the later processing will be handed over to another team. This is a huge happy event for Ljia village. In addition, because there are too many vehicles coming and going in the village, it is very crowded, and it is quite troublesome to miss a bus. Therefore, the village department finally discussed that everyone should pool money together to widen the road again. Otherwise, the construction in the village will not be completed as scheduled. Li Chen naturally has no objection. The current one-way street is really not enough for Jiakan, where a large number of vehicles enter and exit every day. If the construction team has good equipment, good materials, and a large number of people, the efficiency will naturally be high. There are also those that can be opened to traffic in half a month. Jiakan is not short of money now, so they might as well pay for it. This resulted in Ljia village, which was already congested, becoming even more congested. But there is no way, this time the blockage will not last long. In addition, the cement factories in surrounding villages also became prosperous. A large part of the purchase does not require the best cement, which naturally benefits the surrounding villages and leads to a significant increase in orders. Another one is the brick factory. There are the most brick factories in rural areas. Nowadays, the whole village has to build new houses. Although the profit of bricks is not high, the large quantity cannot withstand the large quantity, resulting in the fact that the major brick factories are almost full recently. This is also equivalent to indirectly creating a large amount of wealth. A large number of material companies around are also due to Ljia village, which has led to this wave of wealth. The materials are almost swept away, mainly because Ljia village is now fully operational, and the daily consumption is too high. All kinds of equipment also need to be replaced. The old electric poles used before must also be replaced. The next step is the installation and procurement of street lights, etc. There are so many things to do. At the same time, Zhao Hualiang sent people to purchase herbs again, and the quantity this time is still not small. After the increase in demand for this batch, the pockets of the people in Ljia village are filled again. Moreover, Zhao Hualiang said that he is now ready to find Murong Shui to endorse this. But he was afraid that Murong Shui would be a little averse to this, so he needed Li Chen to ask for her opinion. Li Chen expressed his understanding and received the new product. It just so happened that he was going to visit the studio and see how Murong Shui and Li Nanfei were doing there. Bringing this bottle of stretch mark removal medicine over was also a small gift. After all, it had been agreed before. Ljia village was in a state of turmoil, and the village naturally changed every day. Because the demand for various things would increase, a huge market was formed around them. Vegetables and rice alone were almost out of stock. Not to mention the rest of the daily necessities. After all, there were more than 10,000 foreign workers alone, and the consumption was huge. At the same time, a group of capable and idle people at home found things to do. Li Donglong was frying tea leaves. He was still afraid at first. His father told him to use his hands instead of a spatula, which scared him half to death. But after trying it twice, he found that it didn't seem too hot. Stir-frying tea is also a rare experience for Li Donglong. He is very satisfied. After frying, he packed it in the box he bought. Xiao, let's go see your mother. Zunda, Li Biwa's eyes lit up. Are you going? Yes, Li Biwa smiled happily. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 575. The box is very exquisite, with carefully engraved patterns on it. This is the work of an old craftsman in the village, and the wood used was also bought by Li Chen at a high price. The fragrance of the wooden box is very unique, and with the finely carved patterns, it is worthy of the word handicraft. Li Donglong gently spread the tea leaves, and then put them next to his nose and sniffed them gently. It smelled very good. This faint fragrance and tea fragrance is something he has never smelled in other teas. Li Donglong opened the wooden box and put the tea leaves he had fried himself into the box. The two sisters Li Zifeng and Li Biwa lay on the table, watching Li Donglong packing tea leaves with a distracted look. Brother, don't you hate him? Li Zifeng raised his eyes and asked without even bothering to raise his head. Why hate him? Li Donglong asked back while filling the tea leaves. He nurtured me. But Li Zifeng said here and held back again. Should I hate Muronghongs? She actually didn't know. After all, it was her grandfather who made her family become like this. Until now, she still didn't know what her grandfather was planning. Also, were Grandpa and Grandma really dead? Because judging from Dad's reaction, Grandpa and Grandma might not be dead. Since they are not dead, is it related to the things that happened at the beginning? Li Donglong touched Li Zifeng's head and said, we don't know about the things of the previous generation after all, and what kind of secrets are there in Jideo? But I am Jideo, people should be grateful. Grandpa has many bad things, but we can't deny his kindness to me. Grandpa is a bad guy, Li Biwa said with her lips pouted. What she likes most is to imitate Li Zifeng. Li Zifeng lay on the table and put her chin on the back of her hands, and she followed suit. Li Donglong smiled and didn't explain anything to his stupid sister. It wasn't until the two boxes were full that Li Donglong packed them in bags. Aren't you two going to clean up? Li Donglong stood up, and Li Zifeng followed suit. Li Biwa didn't understand, so he also stood up. When he saw Li Zifeng holding De Guo's arm, Li Biwu rushed over and held his other side. Unfortunately, that couldn't be considered holding, it could only be considered hanging. Li Donglong didn't know whether to laugh or cry, and he bent down to pick up his stupid sister. Xiao immediately showed a happy smile, gently hugged Li Donglong's neck, and said affectionately, "De Guo. You are so handsome." Li Donglong couldn't help laughing, he liked his stupid sister to say such big truths. When he walked to the door, the courier had already come to the door. "Excuse me, is your family sending a courier?" "Yes." Li Donglong smiled and handed the bag over and said, "Here is the address." "Okay." After the courier packed and left, Li Donglong held Xiao and took Li Zifeng back. Inside the house, great-grandfather Li Chuanlong had already prepared food. "Wow, Grandpa, what's the matter?" Li Biwu's eyes were bright like light bulbs, and she was so excited. "This is the fig we planted." Li Chuanlong smiled and waved, "You three come and try it." "Yeah, I want it." Li Biwu wanted to fly out. Li Donglong had a dark face. This was the bad thing about his stupid sister. She was a real foodie. She forgot everyone when she saw food. Finally, Li Donglong had to put the restless Li Biwu on the table. Seeing that she knew how to eat without being taught, he couldn't help but roll his eyes. In terms of eating, Li Biwu was self-taught. Li Zifeng and Li Donglong sat down with a smile. The surface of the fig was purple-red, but there was a faint fruity fragrance. The flesh after tearing it open was a bit like the flesh of an apricot sticking to the core. This kind of fruit is very sweet, and the probability of fruiting is also very high. After taking a bite, Li Donglong couldn't help but ask, "Grandpa, do you still have this fruit?" "Yes." Li Chuanlong turned around and said, "What's wrong?" "We plan to visit my mother and Xiaofei, and I want to bring some for them," Li Donglong said. "Okay, then I'll pick it for you." Li Chuanlong smiled immediately. It's no problem to bring it to his granddaughter-in-law and great-grandson. Li Chuanlong thought, how wonderful it would be if the whole family was here. Xiaofei is so young, don't let him film, it's very tiring. I don't know if Xiaofei eats well outside. Have they been bullied outside? When Li Chuanlong thought of this, he couldn't help but think of his grandson Li Chen. He is really a piece of shit. He is so rich, but he still wants his wife to film. There are still many fig trees at home, and there are loquat trees and apricot trees next to them. The loquat tree has no fruit yet. This thing blooms for 3 years and bears fruit for 3 years, which is very long. But the apricot tree is good, the apricots are golden yellow. Some of them were sun-dried and red. When you bite them, they are tender, juicy and sweet. This is a fruit tree that every household in the countryside likes to plant. The taste is naturally top-notch. Li Chuanlong picked a basket full of figs, and then went to pick apricots. After Li Chuanlong picked more than 10 kilograms, Li Donglong hurriedly grabbed his great-grandfather and said, "Great-grandfather, that's enough." He was dumbfounded. Why did the old people in the family prepare so much? Is that enough? That's enough. Li Donglong didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "Great-grandfather, you are too honest. It's summer now. Bringing so many fruits will easily rot." Li Zifeng was also packing things. Only Li Biwu was still eating. Li Chen came down from upstairs and saw Xiao Wu, whose mouth was full of fruit pulp and juice and whose teeth were black and red, smiling at him. Li Chen couldn't help shivering and took out a tissue to wipe her with some disgust. "Eat slowly." "Good times." Li Biwu laughed and said, "Dad times." "Dad won't eat." Li Chen shook his head. The figs that Xiao Wu had gnawed looked like they were gnawed by a dog. It was really unbearable to look at. Seeing that Li Chen didn't eat, Xiao Wu laughed. She was still reluctant. "Bring so many things." Li Chen looked at the fruits prepared by his grandfather and asked blankly, Li Chuanlong glared and said, "What's the matter? If you don't eat, my granddaughter-in-law won't eat either? My precious great-grandson won't eat?" Li Chen shut up silently. In this family, he was getting less and less important. "Xiaolong, come on, let's pack up. Remember to disperse after you go." Li Chuanlong was admonishing on the side. Li Chen was sitting on the side, not in a hurry. It doesn't matter if you bring more things, anyway, he has system space to use. It's just right for Shui and Sci-fi to relax completely. I just don't know how long it will take them to finish filming. The crew said. This is a famous film and television base in China. At this time, a large number of staff members are ready to go home. I saw a handsome young man driving a Lamborghini getting out of the car. Many people in the crew have become accustomed to it. Film and television bases like theirs have many big stars and rich kids. And everyone knows that rich kids like prey. Beautiful female stars are often the ones they stare at. Murong Shui is no exception. As the leader of the previous generation of pure and innocent women, she naturally has many suitors. Even now, Murong Shui is less than 30 years old, which is the most charming and beautiful time for a woman. Even though they know that she has a man, she still has many suitors. "Mr. Gu, are you here to see Miss Murong again? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment." The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 576. The young man was smiling and well educated, not as arrogant as everyone thought. He was very fashionable and low-key. Even when he saw the staff at the bottom, he would greet them with a smile. Moreover, every time he came after the filming was completed, and never came during the filming. This also made it difficult for the directors to say anything. They also persuaded that Miss Murong Shui had a complicated background. But Mr. Gu in front of him still didn't care and didn't care. Since he met Murong Shui 5 days ago, he seemed to be obsessed with it, coming here at a fixed time every day. No one would not be moved by such a handsome, rich, polite, and well-educated rich second generation without any airs. Especially women in the entertainment industry, most of them want to enter the rich circle. However, looking at the past and present, how many female stars in the entertainment industry have really been accepted by the rich circle? Many marriages are just a product of exchange. Many female stars did not realize their dream of marrying into a wealthy family in the end, but simply became machines for giving birth to children. This is helpless, but also a reality. But even so, many women in the crew have also moved their minds. Except for the director and some main creative staff who know Murong Shui's background, the rest of the people are not very clear. Even if Murong Shui and Li Chen officially announced, Li Chen was very low-key and almost never leaked his information. It was Shen Yanqing who took care of it externally, which is why many people still don't give up on Murong Shui. Murong Shui had just finished filming the last scene, and before she had time to smile, she saw this young man coming again. Miss Murong Gu Yunting held flowers in his hands, with a gentle smile on his face, and his eyes were shining when he looked at Murong Shui. "Mr. Gu is here again. He is really handsome. How great it would be if such a man pursued me. I don't know what he is thinking. What can a woman who has given birth to 4 children pursue? That's right. Mr. Gu has such a good family background, he can definitely match a better woman." These days, many actresses are dissatisfied. Because every time Gu Yunting came, he only had Murong Xiu in his eyes, and could not tolerate other people. At the same time, he would also instruct the people around him to prepare a sumptuous lunch and fruits for the crew. The consumption alone was a considerable amount. Sometimes, it is often this most intuitive thing that can move the heart. Gu Yunting's handsomeness, background, gentleness, and carefulness all made the female stars present admire him. In this big divat, there are very few who are truly pure. The more Murongxiu was unmoved, the more uncomfortable and uneasy these female stars felt. They all subconsciously felt that Murongxiu, a woman who had secretly married and had children, was not worthy of a handsome man like Gu Yunting. And only they were qualified to be worthy of Gu Yunting. After hearing what these female stars said, Gu Yunting frowned slightly. Even the frowning look made many female stars feel moved. "You are all public figures, please be restrained when speaking," Gu Yunting warned. "Miss Murongxue is perfect, I don't want anyone to slander her." After these words came out, the female stars felt even more sour and jealous. If young Master Gu could say such words to himself, how great would it be? It's a pity that Murongxue really doesn't know what's good for her. The director glanced at these women, shook his head, and was too lazy to persuade them. Those who should be persuaded have been persuaded, and they are asking for it if they don't listen. At the beginning, people of Chen Ye's level suffered a great loss at the hands of Murongxue's husband. He really didn't know where these female stars got the confidence to dare to shout here. But Director Chen has seen too many examples. Some people lack social experience, and some people are simply stupid. I have no idea how complicated the environment in this divat is. Not to mention these little stars, even top stars have to kneel down in front of the husband of this movie queen. Others can invest more than 4 billion in film and television alone. You can imagine how rich they are. As for this young Master Gu, his family background is indeed not simple, and he is a well-known pharmaceutical company owner here. The background behind him is indeed not to be underestimated. It can be said that his family has everything related to the pharmaceutical field. As for the assets behind him, at least it must be over 100 billion. To be honest, ordinary people don't even have the qualifications to meet such a rich and powerful man. Many actresses are willing to offer themselves to him, but no matter how well educated the Gu family is, they will not mess around, or they know very well that these people in the entertainment industry are just playthings after all. At most, they will have a relationship, and they will never really take her home. I don't know what this young Master Gu's family thinks. Director Chen shook his head and was too lazy to care. If that person knew, the Gu family would be in trouble. As the crowd dispersed, Gu Yunting approached again. "What are you doing here again?" At this time, Li Nanfei blocked the front and looked at Gu Yunting with a somewhat unhappy expression. Gu Yunting immediately smiled and said, "Xiaofei, I'll take you to dinner." "Thank you, we don't need it," Li Nanfei refused. "With Mr. Gu's upbringing, he shouldn't take me and my mother away by force, right? You know my mother is married, but you're still here? I don't understand, what are you trying to do?" Gu Yunting's face froze. "Whether my mother agrees or not, my reputation will be affected." "You know this, don't you?" Li Nanfei said with a smile, as if he was talking about a trivial matter. "You misunderstood." "Oh? I hope I misunderstood," Li Nanfei said. "In this case, please don't bother my mother again. My mother can't refuse you out of affection, but you should understand, right?" After Li Nanfei finished speaking, he turned to Murongxue and said, "Mom, let's go to dinner. Dad has ordered a meal for us." Okay. Murongxue smiled lightly, took her youngest son's hand, and left briskly. As for Gu Yunting, she didn't even look at him. Gu Yunting, who was holding the flowers, had a calm face, and his hand holding the flowers had bulging veins. Finally, Gu Yunting turned and left. After returning to his house, he kicked the chair over. "Oh, it looks like our Master Gu has failed again. I've said it before, a woman like Murongxue is not so easy to deal with, why bother?" Gu Yunting's face was extremely deep, and he said, "There is no woman in this world whose love is stronger than gold. If there is, it's just that the price I paid was not enough." "Ha ha ha, Okay, although I also like Murong Shui, I still give up. Several young men in the room laughed and said, by the way, we have recently joined forces with several doctors to develop a drug that specifically helps women get rid of stretch marks. It is ready to be launched on the market. Are you sure you don't want to come? Gu Yunding shook his head. Master Gu, there are women everywhere. Why bother thinking about Murong Shui? If it really doesn't work, then use money to throw it. With your family's wealth, what are you afraid of? That's right, if it really doesn't work, just kidnap her directly. I don't know if Murong Shui dares to speak out. Hee, that makes sense, let the brothers have a taste of the soup. Everyone laughed immediately. In their eyes, women in the entertainment industry are just playthings. Gu Yunding's eyes flickered slightly. It's not impossible. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 577. You just mentioned the medicine to remove stretch marks. What's going on? Oh, that's right, one of the young men said. Nowadays, many women don't want to have children. On the one hand, they don't want to be dragged down by the family. On the other hand, they think that they will become ugly and painful after having children. On the market, many women who have given birth are actually a little depressed and inferior. A large number of stretch marks appear, which makes them look ugly. In addition, the body is too bloated and obese. Not everyone can lose weight successfully. Gu Yunding heard this and his eyes flickered slightly. You mean, this market is big now? Brother Gu, this is not big, but super big. The man laughed and said, if these two problems can be solved, at least it will reduce the troubles of women in giving birth, right? If they can still stay beautiful after giving birth, at least this is a good choice for them. Gu Yunding heard this and immediately said, this makes sense, but I remember that there are many medicines on the market to remove stretch marks, but the effect. At this point, he saw several friends laughing. Gu Yunding slapped his forehead and said, so that's it, no effect. That's not the case. Several doctors have done many clinical trials this time, and the success rate is 45%. So high, Gu Yunding exclaimed. So, the product we brought out this time has a certain effect, at least it can get rid of a lot of fake products on the market. The man laughed and said, wait until our product becomes well known, Brother Gu's chance will come, right? Gu Yunding was stunned, and it took him a long time to react and said, you mean, let me cater to Murong Shui's preferences? Of course, Murong Shui has given birth to 4 children, so she must have this problem. If you can start from this point, there may be a chance. Hearing this, Gu Yunding looked overjoyed. Very good, I choose to invest, and this medicine must be popular. Gu Yunding would naturally not let go of something that can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. This market is too big, and women occupy half of it. Even if only half of this half get married and have children, the market is still terrifying. Once this drug is on the market, it will inevitably be snatched up. In the market, products related to women are often the best selling. If this business is successful, it will really be a huge profit. In addition, you can also borrow flowers to offer to Buddha. If you can win Murong Shui, it will be really worth it. Ljia village. Li Chen brought a lot of things in his system space. He was too lazy to bring things that he couldn't bring. As for the 3 little ones, they wanted to fill the car. If you don't know, you would think that he, Li Chen, is taking his 3 children out for a trip. Grandpa, that's enough. Li Chen quickly stopped Li Chuanlong's move. He was just visiting the set, not staying in another place. Is it that serious? Li Chuanlong was a little embarrassed. He found that the trunk of the car was indeed full, so he said, okay, be careful on the way. Remember to call me when you arrive. Okay, Li Chen breathed a sigh of relief. He was really afraid that his grandfather would continue to stuff things in here. Everything that can be put in the car has been put in. If it is really impossible to take it, there is nothing to do. Roar. Ah. Beside the car door, the two little tigers bit Li Donglong's trouser legs and whimpered. The watery tiger eyes looked at Li Donglong reluctantly. Tuan tuan yun. Li Donglong smiled and squatted down, touched their little heads and said, "Be good at home, I will be fat in 2 days when I go out." The two little tigers were very unhappy. They seemed to understand what he said and bit Li Donglong's trouser legs and refused to let go. The little wolf was also rubbing against Li Zifeng, and there were tears in the corners of his eyes. This is a very timid wolf, who relies heavily on Li Zifeng. On the contrary, Daodu, Xiahua, and Xiao Xiahe were very calm. Daodu was used to it, and Xiahua was simply afraid of the heat and didn't want to go out. As for Xiaoxioi, he went wherever there was food. "Dad, what should I do? They won't let me go." Li Donglong looked at Li Chen for help. Li Chen sighed and said, "How about taking them together?" There were cages at home, but other people were taking their pet dogs, and taking 2 tigers and a wolf with them might cause a big sensation. Hearing that they could take them, the 2 little tigers rolled on the ground happily and jumped up. Woof woof. Hearing this, Daodu became anxious and jumped directly into the car, and then licked Li Biwu. Li Biwu was tickled by Daodu's licking, and quickly held the dog down to stop it from moving. Daodu knew that it would be safe if he went out with them. Li Donglong had no choice but to put Tuan Tuan and Yuan into the cage and hold them himself. Li Zifeng took the wolf cub in her arms, and Li Chen sighed. "We have to buy a van in the future, otherwise the whole family can't sit. It has to be a super large van." The car started, and Li Chen took the 3 children and pets and went straight to the film and television base. Ding-ling-ling. Li Chen's cell phone rang, and he gently pressed the Bluetooth headset. "Hello? Uncle Zhao. Is it convenient to answer the phone?" Zhao Hualiang's voice sounded on the phone. Li Chen pulled the car over and said, "It's convenient, you say. We have sent you all our clinical data and test reports." Zhao Hualiang was quite excited. "Now we can officially draw a conclusion. The effect of removing stretch marks can reach 95% of perfection." Li Chen smiled, not surprised, which is why he dared to bring it out before. "We will make the final layout and publicity. If nothing goes wrong, it will be on the market in the next 2 days." Zhao Hualiang smiled and said, "Then ask Shuer if she is willing to endorse it." "Okay." Li Chen smiled. "This product will definitely attract widespread attention when it comes out. And a good spokesperson is also crucial." Li Chen did not agree on behalf of Murong Shui. After all, this matter involves many aspects. Although Murong Shui admitted that she was secretly married and had children, she is a female star after all. Although everyone knows that stretch marks exist, it is completely different to say it out and not to say it out. Some people will be very reluctant. Li Chen started the car and continued to move forward. "It is estimated that we will arrive around 8 p.m. and Shuer and the others should be resting at that time." Film and television base. Director Chen called out, "Cut, all the shots for today have been shot. Thank you for your hard work, everyone is tired all day, get ready to rest, we can finish shooting tomorrow." A burst of cheers broke out at the scene. Who dared to believe that this drama would be finished so long in advance? Although it was painful, it also made everyone feel relieved. Murong Shui and Li Nanfei also smiled. After shooting tomorrow, they can go back and give their father a big surprise. The mother and son thought about it, and their faces changed as soon as they turned around. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 578. There are countless luxury cars near the studio. Not only that, each luxury car is filled with flowers. These beautiful flowers shine brightly under the neon lights. Behind Guyunding, there is a very beautiful romantic flower heart, surrounded by confession elements. Although many people have passed the age of romance and feel that sending flowers is vulgar. But since ancient times, people's hearts are all won by routines. Even if it is a vulgar thing, women can't help but be moved. There is no doubt about this. Wow! It's so beautiful. How long will it take to set up this? Mr. Gu is really romantic, I really can't help but be moved. Yes, if a man treats me like this, I would be willing to die. A large number of people couldn't help but gather around. Stars are also people, they will watch the fun and be vulgar. What's more, the arrangement of the scene took a lot of thought. Gu Yunting was willing to spend money to have people distribute gifts on the spot, whether it was stars or extras. This situation is undoubtedly equivalent to an official announcement. It doesn't matter if Murongxiu disagrees, there is heat and topics. Whether Murongxiu agrees or not, he, Gu Yunting, will not have much influence. But there will inevitably be people who criticize Murongxiu, thinking that Murongxiu pretends to be pure, but in fact her private life is very bad. A married person still accepts the courtship and confession of outsiders on the set, which is challenging the moral bottom line of the public. At that time, Murongxiu's reputation will inevitably plummet, and it is even possible that her career will be ruined. Once Murongxiu loses power, the Gu family will intervene with strong capital, and Murongxiu will be at his mercy. This is Gu Yunting's first insurance. The second is the stretch mark removal drug that is just about to be launched on the market. At that time, they can let Gu Yunting cater to his preferences. Do you, Murongxiu, accept it? Moreover, once the product is popular, many actresses may come to grab the endorsement. This endorsement has become a hot commodity. Do you want it, Murongxiu? As long as you, Murongxiu, succumb to capital, you can be manipulated by others. Many people even picked up their mobile phones at the scene and started shooting videos and taking photos. Li Nanfei's face was extremely ugly. He didn't expect that this guy who behaved quite well would be so disgusting. This was to roast her mother on the fire. Murongxiu was no longer the little white she was before. She knew too well the filthiness of it. But she never expected that she would encounter such a disgusting thing after her comeback. This made her disgust for Gu Yunting reach the extreme. Gu Yunting had a face full of affection, holding a super large flower, and walked towards Murongxiu and Li Nanfei. All around were screams and people who were bought, and they were frantically creating an ambiguous atmosphere. Promise him, promise him. Be together, be together. Many times, these people were eating melons when their brains were hot. They had completely forgotten that Murongxiu was married. The atmosphere at the scene was pushed to the peak at once. Gu Yunting's eyes flashed with a smile, and he came to Murongxiu and said, Murongxiu, since the first time I saw you, I have been deeply attracted to you. I know that we have known each other for a short time, and you may think that I am just talking nonsense. But what I want to say is that from that moment on, my heart belongs to you. Cheers and exclamations. I didn't have time to participate in your first half of life. If possible, I want to accompany you for the second half of your life. The more affectionate Gu Yunting said, the colder Murongxiu's face became. She really didn't expect that this man would do anything. In the eyes of others, this is romantic, this is a bold pursuit of his wife. But Murongxiu is disgusted. Knowing that she is married and has children, he still does this, which is challenging her moral bottom line. If she really responds, what is she? Under the watchful eyes of thousands of people, Murongxiu responded coldly, Sir, I'm sorry, I have a husband and children. Maybe you think it's romantic to confess in public, but I don't think so. You know I have a husband and a family, but you still do this. You make me doubt that there is something wrong with your family education. Any normal family can't teach someone like you who has a distorted outlook on life. Wow! There was an uproar all around. The onlookers were shocked. Is this woman going to refuse? Mirong Shui was very disappointed when she saw the reactions of some girls around her. To be honest, she never thought that girls nowadays would become like this. Although some people felt sorry for Mirong Shui, more people thought that Mirong Shui was ignorant and uninterested. Gu Yunding's expression changed slightly for a while, and then he said, liking has nothing to do with other things. I know that Miss Mirong did not marry that gentleman at the beginning, and they did not even get a marriage certificate. In this case, isn't my pursuit very natural? Love does not need clear boundaries. If you are willing, we can get a marriage certificate tomorrow. As for your child, I can also take care of it. For a while, countless women fell in love. At this time, they would not consider other things. What they care about is the feeling at this moment, not ethics and logic. Mirong Shui's face was cold. This Gu Yunding was just trying to drag her down. She understood it. Shui, give me a chance, okay? At least, I'm not the kind of irresponsible man. I have a child, but I still don't get a marriage certificate. I can't do it, and I can't do it. Gu Yunding's expression and warm words moved many people. Who said I'm irresponsible? Wow! The restless crowd began to exclaim. Hearing this voice, the frost on Mirong Shui's face instantly dissipated. She widened her eyes in surprise and looked at the man walking in the crowd in disbelief. At this moment, she only had him in her eyes, full of stars, full of admiration, full of, incredible. How could he come? Dad, Li Nanfei's little face suddenly showed a happy smile, and he ran towards Li Chen who was walking over. Who are you looking for? This man is so handsome. When did handsome guys appear in groups? Isn't this Shui's official husband? This is his son and daughter, my God, they are so good looking. The crowd was boiling. Many people saw Li Chen for the first time on the scene. His handsome features were sharp and angular, and the whole person exuded an indescribable sense of peace. He was hazy all over, as if he was a banished immortal from heaven. Everyone who thought Gu Yunding was handsome and gentle before couldn't help but want to vomit in their hearts. Compared with Mirong Shui's husband, this guy was really abused. Li Chen smiled slightly, and countless women smiled like crazy. Wife, I'm late, and you've been wronged. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 579. Li Chen's gentle voice sounded, and those who were originally standing for Gu Yunding suddenly looked at Li Chen with infatuated eyes. Everyone seemed to see the Prince Charming in their hearts. As the saying goes, 1,000 faces have 1,000 faces, and at this moment, Li Chen is exuding a charm that ordinary people cannot resist. At his level, he is pure and spotless, and if he releases a little charm, ordinary people can hardly resist it. What's more, he did it on purpose this time. Mirong Shui is no exception. He ignored Gu Yunding, who was livid on the side, put Xiao Wu down, and hugged Li Nanfei who rushed over. Dad, you are so handsome. Li Chen smiled and let go of his youngest son. He looked at Mirong Shui tenderly and walked over. Countless people picked up the video and started live broadcasting. Being affected mentally is partly, but more importantly, Li Chen is indeed very charming. He attracted everyone's attention, forcing them to pay attention to Li Chen. Even if this man is wearing the most ordinary clothes, he can't hide his elegance. Mirong Shui's eyes were slightly red, her heartbeat accelerated, and her legs standing in place were as heavy as if they were filled with lead. Li Chen gently reached out and pinched Mirong Shui's cheek. Ah! He actually pinched my goddess face. Li go, take your life. I'm a man, but my heart is pounding. Burn heterosexuals to death, damn, my goddess blushed. Is this the charm of a nanny? A large number of fans poured into the live broadcast room of countless people. When countless fans learned that Li Chen actually appeared on Murong Shue's set, how could they sit still? Originally, they were all unknown or not very famous female stars, but at this moment they found that the number of their fans had skyrocketed. The popularity of the live broadcast room was unprecedentedly high. Gu Yunding had a dark face and was furious. He had prepared for so long, but he couldn't stop this man from appearing. Is the gap really that big? From childhood to adulthood, he has never been crushed like this. Li Chen looked at the shy Murong Shui and took out a diamond ring from his pocket. You said that when you finish filming, we will go to get the certificate. Li Chen's voice was soft and charming, making countless people reluctant to interrupt. I had arrived a long time ago, but after I asked the director, I found out that you were going to finish filming tomorrow. So. He opened the diamond ring box. I went to find the best diamond ring store nearby and asked them to choose this treasure for me as quickly as possible. This Dr. diamond ring, there is only one in a lifetime, are you willing to wear it? There was silence at the scene. Even director Chen and others looked at it with expectation. Young people still know how to play. This kind of confession on the set has reached a new height. Sending flowers is far behind. Oh my god, how many carats is daddy's diamond ring? It's too big, isn't it? Someone has asked just now. This diamond ring is the only one. It seems to be worth only 30 million. Is the person above talking? Just 30 million? How can a broken diamond ring be so expensive? I suddenly feel that Mr. Gu's flowers are so cheap. Yeah, it's too cheap. In the live broadcast room, everyone laughed. Li Chen held the diamond ring in his hand and held it in front of Murong Shui. Murong Shui sniffed with red eyes, and then stretched out her white and slender little hand for Li Chen to put on her. Roar! Oh my god, the sour smell of love. I have to eat dog food when watching a live broadcast, it's unreasonable. When Li Chen put the diamond ring on Murong Shui, the scene was completely boiling. I know you are very tired in filming, so I want to take you to see it next, Li Chen said softly. What to see? Murong Shui asked subconsciously. Countless people actually wanted to ask, what are you going to take Shui to see, daddy? Li Chen gently hugged Murong Shui and said, take you to see the stars every day. Is this a lie? I think so, the stars are so far away, how can I see them? Does daddy want to hang on the wire? I think it's okay. Whether in the live broadcast room or on the scene, everyone was curious and suspicious. Li Chen gently hugged Murong Shui's slender waist and smiled at the people around him. Excuse me. The figure gently jumped and soared into the air. Ni ma, is this true? Ascension. Am I dazzled? Thousands of people were shocked, and countless people below took out their mobile phones. Li Nanfei cursed inwardly, holding Xiao Wu's hand and said, run. Li Donglong and Li Zifeng turned around and rushed out of the crowd. Dad really forgot his loyalty when he saw a beautiful woman. Every time she sees mom, she doesn't want us anymore. Li Donglong picked up Li Biwu, and Li Zifeng carried Li Nanfei, not daring to stop for a moment. This can't be true, right? Is there really a light skill that can fly? I was shocked, even Newton's coffin couldn't hold it down. I'm afraid only Murong Shui's children would know about this. Hey, where is the actor Li? Go find them. Sensation. Hurry up and make a big sensation. When Li Chen held Murong Shui and flew into the sky to see the stars, the entire social media exploded. First, Li Chen's Douyin account was flooded with private messages. Secondly, it was the hot search on Weibo. 20 of the top 50 were about Li Chen and Murong Shui. And the most discussed question was whether Li Chen could fly. Of course, many people thought that this was a wire hanging and a TV series. Some people were just putting on a show. Of course, there were also people who knew that there were actually masters of ancient martial arts in this world. It's just that they would not easily show up in front of these ordinary people. Li Donglong held Xiao Wu and panted, and Li Zifeng and Li Nanfei almost died. The four people hid around a trash can and dared not breathe. Until the crazy crowd left. The four siblings looked at each other and cursed in unison. Lecherous father, always let us wipe our asses. The four siblings continued to hide. After all, this skill has been learned since childhood. Li Donglong and Li Nanfei took out their mobile phones and started to deal with the problem. After all, dad is flirting with mom, and as a son, he can only clean up the mess. As a son, it is safest to post a message saying that dad uses high-tech to fly. Otherwise, his family will never have peace in the future. Big pot, Li Biwu was covered by Li Zifeng as soon as he opened his mouth. Don't talk. Li Biwu rolled his eyes and finally nodded obediently. After waiting for a few minutes, Li Nanfei came out and said, "The phone is turned off." "Brother, where did you stay when you came just now?" "We haven't booked a hotel yet, and the car is still there," Li Zifeng said on behalf of his brother. "Let's go back to the hotel first," Li Nanfei immediately said. "Follow me, don't make a sound." The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 580. The four little ones returned to the hotel where Li Nanfei was staying and breathed a sigh of relief at the same time. Li Nanfei patted his chest and asked, "By the way, why are you here?" It can be seen that Li Nanfei is still quite happy and quite surprised. The eldest brother, the second sister and the confused and stupid sister in front of him are very friendly. Li Donglong wiped the sweat off his face. He was almost exhausted just now. "Xiao Wu, don't do it so many times in the future," Li Donglong stared and taught. "Ah. No," Li Biwa came back to her senses and immediately pouted. "You are so fat." Li Biwa was unhappy when she heard it. Big pot is fat, Xiao Wu is not fat. Li Nanfei and Li Zifeng almost laughed to the side. In the past, the eldest brother spoiled Xiao Wu very much. After escaping with Xiao Wu in his arms today, he changed his mind instantly. Xiao Wu is still too heavy. Li Donglong panted for a long time before he could breathe evenly. The hotel is very big. When Murongxiu brought Li Nanfei to stay, she booked 2 rooms on this floor. The space is completely sufficient. Usually Li Nanfei sleeps in a large room, and Murongxiu sleeps in the large room opposite. This is equivalent to a large presidential suite. Even if there are a few more of them tonight, it is more than enough. Li Biwu lay by the window, staring with black eyes and asked, "Where is Dad?" "Your dad doesn't want you anymore," Li Nanfei said while sitting on the soft carpet. "You are talking nonsense." Li Biwu was a little unhappy. "Dad likes Xiaoa very much, how could he not want Xiaoa?" Li Zifeng couldn't help rubbing Li Biwu's little head and said, "They are talking nonsense." Li Biwu immediately hugged Li Zifeng and said coquettishly, "Sister. Take me to find Daddy and Mommy, okay?" "No." "Why?" "Because you are a light bulb." "Why is it a light bulb?" Li Zifeng was a little embarrassed and kicked Li Nanfei's leg and said, "Explain to your sister what a light bulb is." Li Nanfei. Seeing the silly sister with a face full of curiosity, Li Nanfei said seriously, "Light bulbs are annoying children, do you know?" Li Biwu pouted and cried. "Wu, Xiao is not an annoying child." Li Nanfei, Omega Omega. "You made her cry, you come to comfort her." Li Zifeng immediately hid far away and threw the pot to her good brother. "Wow, I want Daddy." Li Biwu was very sad, she was not an annoying child. "Big brother. Ah, it's so hot, where did my father from Bujadeo go?" Li Donglong pretended not to see it and looked out the window. Li Nanfei was immediately overwhelmed. Why did his stupid sister still like this? Xiao, be good, let's not cry. Weavua, Xiao doesn't like Sangguo. Li Bui pulled Li Nanfei's hand away and cried even more sadly. Okay, okay, you don't like the third brother, hey, the third brother prepared a lot of food before, now it seems that the third brother can only eat alone. Weavua, hiccup, Li Bui wiped his eyes with the back of his hand, moved closer to Li Nanfei, and sobbed, I want to tie Sangguo for Xiao, Xiao won't cry. Well, Xiao is really good, let's go find food. Okay, Xiao is good. Li Zifeng. Li Donglong. The roof of the hotel. Murong Shui snuggled in Li Chen's arms, and the two looked at the stars in the sky. The night sky tonight is very clear, and the stars are brighter. Unfortunately, compared with the night in the countryside, it is still much more hazy, not beautiful enough, and the noise is also very loud. Why do I seem to hear Xiao Wu crying? Murong Shui suddenly said. No, you must have heard it wrong. Li Chen shook his head and waved his hand gently to isolate the surrounding sounds. Listen carefully again. Murong Shui frowned and listened carefully, but this time she couldn't hear anything. It seems that I thought too much. Li Chen was about to say some earthy love words, and Murong Shui said again, if we run away like this, what about Xiao Wu? You have to believe in your son. Even if Xiao Fei and Xiao Wu are not sensible, Xiao Feng and Xiao Long can take on the responsibility. Is that so? But they are still children. Murong Shui was still very worried. Li Chen gently hugged Murong Shui and said, believe me, they will definitely hide. Murong Shui was about to speak, and Li Chen kissed her. 10 minutes later. Murong Shui couldn't breathe and pushed Li Chen away, her body was a little weak. Li Chen chuckled and hugged Murong Shui tighter. As the saying goes, a short separation is better than a new marriage, not to mention that this separation is quite long. What are you doing? I didn't do anything. Then why are you moving your hands? Ah, I'm helping you drive away mosquitoes. Murong Shui glared at Li Chen with a slightly red face and said, it's time to go back. Don't. Li Chen pulled Murong Shui, who had just stood up, into his arms again face to face. Smelling the familiar and pleasant smell emanating from this man, especially seeing Li Chen's fiery eyes like flames, staring straight at her, she couldn't bear it. Shui. Huh, Murong Shui's eyes flickered, and traces of light pink blush appeared on her snow-white and tender skin. There are always hundreds of beauties in this world, but you are the only one I love. Bang bang bang. Li Chen could hear the crazy heartbeat of the woman in his arms. Let's sit down for another 10 minutes and then go down. Yeah, Murong Shui was so shy that she almost didn't dare to speak. This man held her tightly. Before I could raise my head, my lips were blocked again. Anyone else? No one is there, no one is there, oh. Li Donglong said with a dark face, tell Xiao Wu to stay away. Li Nanfei, who was fully armed and completely unrecognizable, said helplessly, she wants to hold a walkie-talkie, and there is nothing I can do. The mobile phone cannot be used temporarily for fear of being located. Unexpectedly, Xiao Wu's magic sound walkie-talkie has a limited range of 100 meters. This was greatly beyond their brother's expectations. Thinking that the little tiger and little wolf were still in the car, they could only turn back again. Li Donglong and Li Zifeng went to the car, and Li Nanfei looked around with binoculars to see if anyone was there. Of course, Li Zifeng mainly relied on Li Zifeng to carry things. After all, he was also a martial arts practitioner, and his speed and strength were top-notch. Li Donglong was hiding in the dark, and there were still some figures around him, all looking for the four brothers and sisters. Li Zifeng quickly approached Li Chen's car, but fortunately no one noticed. After opening the car door, Li Zifeng immediately ran back holding the two cages. Brother, withdraw. Li Donglong was in charge of the rear. When he saw his sister carrying a cage with 2 tiger cubs in one hand and a wolf cub in the other, running very fast with Daudu behind her, he quickly caught up with her. My sister's strength level is so high, will she not be able to find a boyfriend in the future?